in Sioux Falls. I've been living here for about 3 years now. I love it here. It's probably the longest I've lived anywhere, but I was born and raised on the res. I try to go back as much as possible, especially during the summer. But yeah, that's just a little bit about me. We're here today to interview Branden LaBatte, running for district councilman for the Haipa district. Branden, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. Can you introduce yourself? Our group here is kind of for networking for off-reservation members that live all over. There's a lot of them out there, and this group is for networking to keep everybody in touch and have them, keep track of what's going on back home.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. So I'll start off. My name is Branden LaBatte. I'm running for the Haipa Council district for a candidate. So a little bit about myself. I grew up on the Sisseton Wahpeton Reservation. I lived down in Sioux Falls for a brief time. I did graduate from Sisseton High School. I did go to the public high school, and I didn't go to TZ at the time. But from there, I graduated back in 2012, and then I went down to University of South Dakota down in Vermilion. I attended there for about 3.5 years, and I was still exploring what I wanted to do for my career. And it all kind of led down to construction. So I have a hard work ethic. Would always like to be a business owner. So construction, I felt, was a good direction for me to go into. So from there, I worked down at Sioux Falls Construction, down kind of where you're located at in Sioux Falls, for a few years. And then from that point, I felt I needed a move. So I always had a place back here on the reservation. I started from high school. I kind of had my own 5 acres, and I developed that into a house now. And then just kind of a place to go back to. I know everyone, especially off reservation. I was once off reservation member. Just kind of a place to go back for home. To call home, to go back to. So once I built this place, and then I transitioned into becoming a union journeyman iron worker, and I did 3 years of classes to become that, which it's kind of equivalent to a construction management degree. So that's just a little bit of background history on with work, kind of my experience and stuff like that. And a lot of it came back to, I wanted to come back to my district. I was always interested into politics and how our tribe was going forward. So I wanted to run this year. I felt that it was a good need to run this year to help bring back something to my community and to my members. And I have a lot of family from the Haipa district, and I would like to better have their support and to help our tribe go in a direction that I think everyone wants it to go into. So that's just a little bit of history on me, and then I guess we could get into the questions now.
All right, sounds good. Let's see here. So we got some questions from different kinds of questions from different people. I got some good ones here. Is how do you view the purpose and function of tribal council? Is it legislative or administrative? Please explain.
Okay, well, what was the last part of that question there? Kind of.
Is it a legislative or administrative body?
The council and the tribe. Okay, so there's kind of I would say it's more administrative. You would want the tribe to be administrative. Council, lately we've seen that council would want to try to control a lot of things and control the administrative part of it too, which I think there should be a separation of powers in between that. With council, they represent the people and what they should approve from the administration. Now, the 3 execs should be the ones that should be progressing our tribe into a direction to where our people, which is the body, the council, who represent all of our 15,000 members of our tribe, should back or, approve or disapprove on certain things. So I think it's more of a administrative body for council and the admin that direct our tribe forward.
All right, sounds good. Let me see here. Let me get through these ones. If the people want the council to return to a stipend part-time governing body, would you support that? Why or why not?
Okay, so a big issue on is voting, and I know a lot of people have a sense of opinion and a direction to go towards, and on the stipend part and on council, I think council is a 40-hour week job, because I think it could better benefit all the members. Now, if we cut it to a stipend, I think people are gonna less care about what happens happens in those council chambers on what we need to approve with the 3 execs. So I think keeping it where it's at is the best, but if people do want to change it, we would need everybody to come together, unite, and change it that way, which I'm fine too, but it's the people have to come together and, do we want to turn this to a stipend, or do we want to better leave the situation as it is? But a lot of it has to do, again, with previous council members. You can have a few in there that are bad apples, but you can have a group in there that are good apples. They're always not going to go hand in hand. So do we look at, are we paying council more for doing nothing, or should we be looking at that person who's doing nothing that should be doing their job? Well, that comes hand in hand on whether it's a stipend or not. I see a lot of previous council that are not doing their job, and that's kind of what people see and what people attach to, and this, a lot of discussion over it. So I believe it's a 40 hour per week job, 52 weeks a year, and I think it should stay like that. But I think we run into that accountability to where people need to do their job, and that's where it should stand.
Okay. All right. Here's some different questions. What does transparency in tribal government mean to you, and how would you work towards transparency if elected?
Okay, so transparency means openness to me. It means open government between who's we elected to running the government and to relaying what happens within our government to the people. That's what transparency means to me the most. It means open budgets. It means open decisions that are readily for discussion between the government and the people. There should never be closed doors between the government and the tribal government and the people. It should be open, because our people, they want to know where our tribe's going and how our tribe should be going to better our people. So that's what transparency means to me. And how would I work towards transparency? I would help better information out to our members. I know from this past election for our district chairman in Haipa, there was 100 people a little over 100 people who voted out of, a couple thousand. We are a big district. We got 3 weighted votes. I would like to see more people vote on issues, big issues that are going to affect our tribe and our future. So how I would better bring transparency is I would keep that openness to our people and relay it back to our districts, not only the people that live on the districts and also the people that live off the districts, because I was once both. I live on now, but I was off reservation. I didn't know nothing about, our district, where it was going, how our tribe was going. But if I knew back then, I could better help our tribe progress into the future. Because we got to look at 10 years from now. Where are we going to be at, and how are we going to help our people? So that's how I would better bring transparency to our government and to our district.
Okay, very good. All right. Our main thing with the off-reservation group is to gain support for mail-in voting for all tribal members, no matter where they live. What is your view on mail-in absentee votes for all tribal members?
So there's kind of two discussions. So like with the United States government, you have to be a resident of a state. Well, with our tribe, there's a lot of members who live elsewhere in different states. They live in California, any other states, and that's kind of where a fine line of when, are you a resident onto our reservation or even our state, to vote? Well, I believe that everyone should have a right to vote. What I would stand behind is mail-in votes, even though it doesn't kind of follow how the US government has theirs. But I think everyone should have a vote, because in the end, everyone's getting a head count on monies coming into the tribe. In the end, everyone's going to need help from the tribe. Everyone gets a certain monies from the casinos or a payout. Everyone gets some kind of type of help from our tribe. We shouldn't be not allowing off-reservation members to vote. I think with our numbers declining, just like I stated, our district had a little over 100 people vote, and there's 2,000-3,000 members out of the district. I think we can better do mail-in voting, or even I would like to see us take in technology and have a sort of portal online to where we can enter in, say our enrollment number and things like that, to where it tracks, so there is no, illegal voting changes and stuff like that. But I think our tribe should progress forward in something like that, because our people do deserve a voice, and they deserve to vote. So I do support mail-in voting or something of that sort to better assist our people.
All right, very good. All right, okay. Next would be our revenue from gaming has been declining, mostly probably due to the pandemic, and that pandemic doesn't really seem like it's gonna go away anytime soon. What is you said you were in construction. What would be some projects that you would think that we could venture out from gaming, get away from that maybe a little bit to take place of that revenue that we're losing with the gaming?
So when I look 10 year, when you look, okay, so a good company, they have like a 10-year plan, 10-year vision. When we look back 10 years, where was our tribe? Where was our debt? Where were we at with helping our people? And I look from 10 years ago to 10 years today, we've gotten more in debt. Our profits seem like they've been always going down. I always stress that we shouldn't rely on casino monies. It was a good business to get into with casino monies, but I think it should be a starter business. We should have had that money come in. We should have made it into something else, because we do have a lot of land. We are a big land-based tribe, and I think we should build something such as a factory. I'm not talking just, like our trash bag factory, but I'm talking something big scale to where we can ship it out. We're fortunate enough to be next to I-29. Not many, we could look at Standing Rock, they're in the middle of Pierre, kind of in the middle of South Dakota where they don't have a whole lot of places to travel to. So I think a good sized factory that would help our people, it would keep a steady jobs, and it would keep a steady income to where in 10 to 40 years from now, our economy, if it fluctuates, we still have that base of where people need something and we can supply it. So I think a factory of some sort that can better assist our people would help with that decline in casino revenue, because I think people can stop gambling, but people can't stop buying things such as necessities. If they need something from the store and stuff like that. That what makes a big change. So with the declining in the economic development, it's kind of a big thing our tribe lacks. With those declining revenues from the casino, I would like to see also windmills. We have a big land base again. Windmills is a big thing. We're against oil. Why don't we do renewable energy? Why don't we do a solar farm, a big scale solar farm, and a big windmill farm? We have the land all around us. I live south of Beaver, and there's thousands and thousands of acres that we have and we can develop something into. Not very many tribes are fortunate to have land, but they do what they can with the best they can. And we have land, so we need to do the best we can with our land. And another aspect is, back in about the 80s, from a couple of elders, I've learned that our tribe tried farming our own land. We have thousands of acres. But I think we need to bring that farming back, because farming's always going to be there. Like I said, when I look at a 10-year plan from now, farming will always be there. Farmers will always be growing crops, selling their crops to the elevator. With our land base and our farmland, we just take in the lease, and that's it. We don't do anything with our farmland. We take in just a little bit. Why don't we farm our own land with the profits? We'll pay for the lease. We will still have that lease there. We'll have profits. We'll have jobs. Not only that, we can build an elevator. We can ship out those goods. We have a railroad close to us that is in idle. So when we look at economic development, we need a lot of money to come back into our community, because when that money comes back into our community, it stays here and it will revolve around a lot longer than if we had, just like we have no jobs here. We got to have jobs here for people to bring money back into our community. So with that declining casino revenue, I think a big issue is getting a bigger scale job here and help developing our infrastructure a lot better than it is today, rather than just taking the profits of what we get. So that kind of briefly answers my question, but a lot of you out there who kind of don't know me, you can, I'll have a Facebook page out there so you guys I can better iterate and discuss those things too. So.
All right. You mentioned possible factories to supplement the loss in revenue from gaming, and then you mentioned farms as well. Does hemp have any kind of play in that? Which is that what you were referring to as far as factories?
I think hemp. So hemp we can farm. Okay, so when you look at all the crops around here, you look at what's in demand. I think hemp can be in there, and I'm all for it. But I think a lot of when we talk farming is just our corn, our beans, our wheat, the necessity things that go around into the world. But also hemp is a growing, it's always been there, but it's a growing industry that's kind of come into Minnesota and stuff like that. But I think that can be, and also, when you start into farming, you can branch out into other things. So you can do hemp, you can do a little bit of, farming into different, like beets and stuff like that. So it's just another aspect of having a crop, taking that crop into sale and getting a profit off of it. So that's what I think would better help our tribe progress with a job, and it would better help out with the economy's needs, you know.
Okay. All right. Okay. Now I have a question about debt. What would be your main goals and actions to stop our ever continuing debt and get a handle of it and make big strides to finally take care of it so we don't have that constantly hanging over all of our
So
heads?
what the three things I talked about with debt, you'll always, it's, when we look at debt, we look at it as a loan. We always, as people individually, we always want to get a loan for something that we want. So when I look at the tribe, is we're getting a loan. Yes, we do have this debt, but we need to have that money to make them payments. Now, when we keep borrowing things, and I'm going to bring up the store briefly. The store is good. It's good for our people, but when you look at it and you look how when we brought it in, it doesn't quite fit into what our community needs. So when you have something like that, that's just going to be debt hanging over your head with no income. But when you look at a factory or a windmill farm or a big hemp project or something like that of sort, you have a goal is to get all them facets of that paid off, provide jobs to people so they bring money back into our tribal community. And when you do that, when you bring money back into our community, people have that money to go spend on a grocery store, go to a grocery store they want. But when we don't have that money and we have that debt just hanging up there, people utilize their money. They go where it's cheapest, and that's Walmart. So what I would, with my 10-year kind of vision for our tribe, and I'm running, it's for 2 years, but when I'm going to run, I'm going to look at it as a 10-year progress. We need to find something rather than casino money, something that would be better use of our acreage, something that would provide a lot more jobs to our people and better utilize our land base, because that's the big issue where we are overseeing is our land base. We need to really utilize that, and once we utilize that and come together, unite into something, whether it's a factory, windmill farm, solar, farming again, anything that was going to bring a lot of money besides casino money in is going to be a big thing for our tribe.
All right, then we have a cultural preservation question here. What would your plans be to preserve our language and our artifacts, history, and repatronization of our artifacts and stuff like that that's currently being held in museums?
So when I look at cultural preservation, not many of people, if we look at different races in the United States, we are the only one who has a tribal government. We are the only ones who were, not in the history books, besides blacks with slaves and stuff like that, African Americans. But, we still continue to, have certain things displayed in museums where they shouldn't, or, and then the big issue today too, and had always been an issue, was, like names, mascots, after our culture, kind of defaming that. But I think a lot of our culture preservation and our Dakota language, as well as our history, we need to hang on to that as best we can, because I'm gonna tell you a little story. And an elder I kind of met, we were eating, and he was Dakota, and he knew we were Dakota, and he tried saying a few words to us, and I was like, wasn't sure what he meant, because I grew up, with English, slowly our language is slowly dissipating, and we're losing it. So he said a few words, and I asked what that meant, and then he told me. And he told me, I tried speaking Dakota to a few people and they didn't know what I meant. He said, and then he said, they don't know how to speak Dakota. And this man was about 90 to 95 years old. And he said, we lost our language years ago. And he said, that's something we need to hang on to. So when I talk to my elders, and I take every elder's consideration, you know, our culture, we need to hang on to that the best we can. We need to preserve it the best we can. And if it's being preserved the wrong way, we need to address that. So that's just a little bit on that question. I don't want to talk too much about that, but it's something that we need to take seriously also.
Okay. All right. Let's see here. All right, here's one. Have you read the duties and responsibilities of the council that is in the early legislative policy? Do you agree with what is written? Why or why not? And are you in favor of a written document that spells out the duties of the tribal council?
Okay, can you read that again? Kind of breaking up there.
Okay, sorry. Have you read the duties and responsibilities of the council that is in the early legislative policy? And do you agree with what is written? If you have, why or why not? Are you in favor of a written document that spells out the duties of the tribal council?
So when I look at written documents and written duties, I haven't read the one in the early, but I have read the latest. When you look at the duties and stuff, I think when you're a council representative, and this is just looking at it as a leveled-eyed stance at it. When you look at the council, you're representing a body of people, and your duty is to represent those people the best you can. You know, it would be just like our chiefs did back in the day. You know, they had the 7 council fires, but you know, you come together to best represent our people, and that's why I'm running for this position, is because I want to better represent our council. And when you have something written out in fine lines saying, do this, do that, you shall not do this, or you shall not do that, I think it makes people more into formed into a certain position where they can't do something, or they can, but I more or less, I think that the duty should be what's in best interest of the people. And lately we haven't been seeing that. You know, we've been seeing council doing certain things, or, you know, in the past I've seen council vote in for $100,000 salary and stuff like that. You know, that's just wrong. That's just wrong. It shouldn't be like that. And I don't think we should have something in clear white and black letters, because besides the certain things, you know, you got what you can do, what you can't do, but as far as performing duties, you know, all councils should be going up above and beyond what they should be doing at work to better support our people. You know, and that's going into getting information for certain things to better assist in our people for our district. So that's just kind of a brief thing I have on that. So if anyone has any questions, you guys can contact me on the Facebook page and stuff like that on more of this.
All right. Okay. Are you in favor of the current way the tribal council and executives are suspended and removed from office? Can you explain, if you are in favor or not, how would you make it more fair and complete in a factual process?
So I think, and we've seen this in the last 7 elections that we had for removals. We don't have that separation of powers. It's you know, the council seems like they always want to remove somebody on something wrong they did. You know, and people don't, you know, if it's a big issue, it should go back to the districts and not only the districts, but it should go back to the members, because when we go back to district, sometimes at a meeting, even at our district meeting at HYPA, there's about 25 to 40 members at the most out of, like I said, 3,000 members. That's not very many, that's still a low form. So with this voting, I think we should broaden it out into a better, get more people into what we need to do on that. But I think council and the removal should have somebody who comes in or somebody who's appointed at that certain time to do the investigations, whether to tell it's right or wrong. Because we just have this hearsay, and then people make motions to remove. And then when it comes time to the hearing, which, the judges' salaries are overlooked over these people who made motions and stuff like that. And then it kind of comes into a conflict of interest. So I think there needs to be a separate body to help address those, whether someone did do something wrong or someone didn't do something wrong. So that's my stance on that. The process the way it is now it shouldn't be that way. And it's, it's a kind of a loophole in our Constitution and what people are doing out there. So,
Okay. All right. I have another one. Let's see here. Regarding the tribal constitution, are you in favor of how it is written now, or do you think it should be amended? And what would you, if you do think it should be changed, what are some ideas to have how you would better that?
So the Constitution, the way it is now, gives us kind of a backbone of how the tribe is, kind of how the tribe operates and what we can and what we can't do and what's written in kind of clear letters there. I believe there should be changes in certain things as we evolve, because change is good. I mean, that's something we should have. So if something's not fitting the way we need to, we should change it to better fit what the people need and how the tribal government should operate. That's where I think the tribe should change certain things. Some things are outdated that need to be changed that we haven't yet gotten or experienced into what's in the Constitution. So I think it has work that needs to be done to it. And in time that will come, and with the people's opinion on how we should change things or things should be written, that would better assist on that. And as far as if I got elected, I'm not just trying to go into the Constitution and start changing everything, or have anything like that. But voting is a big thing. That I would like to change that. And once we experience these other things, we can, like I said, have transparency and have it open to discussion, because that's what we should be doing. So, because, if you look at our ancestors, they didn't have no constitution to run by. They had leaders, and that's what we need more of for our tribe, is leaders.
All right. Let's see here. As far as questions, that's really all I have for now. Did you have any last message that you wanted to end the interview with?
Yeah, I would like to ask all my HYPA district members. A lot of them are relatives. I know, on this tribe, we're related to a lot of people out there. I would like everyone to come out and vote. I would like to see some good numbers, and I would like you guys to vote for me to be your next HYPA council district councilman. And I also want everyone to stay tuned. I will have my Facebook page on there, and I also, in the Shota, I will have a letter to the HYPA district members in there also. So I want you guys to stay tuned into that. But like I said, the numbers are down. I want everyone to come out and vote. That's what our tribe needs in this time. We need to come out and vote. We need people to speak their voice. And that's what I'm standing behind, is I'm going to represent the people the best I can, and perform duties in the best interest of our HIPAA district members. So I would like you guys to come out and vote. If someone hasn't voted, bring them along too. And, you know, we need to have a better tribal government, but we need the people to be there to vote in the right people. So with that being said, I think that should end our interview on this July 25th. And we had some fun and interesting questions. And I know there's going to be plenty of other questions people are going to have to ask. So just get a hold of me the best you can. And we'll go forth on that note.
Sounds good, Brandon. Well, we appreciate you taking the time for this interview to the off-reservation member group. Thank you for your time.
Yep, thank you. Have a good day. Have a good weekend.
You too.
Yep.